What is up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm covering the mistakes financial coaches make when pricing their services. And I personally struggled with this for a really long time because at my full-time job before I became an entrepreneur, I was a teacher and I was paid $10 an hour after taxes, and this created a huge mindset block for me when it comes to money. At my yearly reviews, I was told over and over and over again, this is what my time and my services were worth. And so when I became an entrepreneur, I really struggled with how to price my services. About a year after I started my business, I realized that my money mindset and my mindset when it came to charging money was severely broken. Ever since then, I've had to spend a lot of time rewiring my brain when it comes to what my time and what my services are worth. This video is actually a follow-up video to this video here. I did a full review of Dave Ramsey's Financial Coach Master Training, and in that video, I go into a little bit about my philosophy when it comes to coaching and pricing. I sincerely believe that getting pricing wrong is the number one thing that makes coaches really burnt out, and it makes them ultimately quit. I have a lot of coaches that follow me on Instagram, and when I keep up with them, I see coaches getting burnt out and quitting time after time after time. Pricing is probably more important than you think, but for different reasons than you think. Pricing is probably not going to be the number one reason why someone decides to buy your services or not buy your services. I'll say it again, pricing is probably not the deciding factor, especially on mid-level investments under $3,000. Pricing and really income is important though, because it's indicative of how many people you are helping, and even more important, your capacity to help more. Which coaching business helps more people? A 5-figure, 6-figure, or 7-figure coaching business? 7. Pricing is pivotal for so many reasons, which is why I want to break down exactly what not to base your prices on. And guys, this is not theory. This is not based on some article I read or some YouTube video that I watched. This is my own experience. This is coming from my mentors that I've invested in that have helped me navigate this space. I have personally made all of these mistakes to some degree, and unfortunately, I've learned a lot of these lessons the hard way. In this video, I'm only covering pricing mistakes and what not to base your prices on. If you want a full tutorial on how to create your pricing, I've put together a free pricing workshop specifically for aspiring financial coaches. The link is below in the description box to watch the hour-long training and learn how to confidently and correctly price your services. Like I go on to say in this video, I get very little pushback on my prices, and I want to share with you exactly how I do it. The link again is in the description box below for the free workshop. All right, so first up is do not price your services on what you think your audience can afford. I see a lot of coaches do this, and it almost always is coming from a place of fear and limitations. At the heart of it, this is really belittling your ideal client. Do you not think that they are capable of working overtime or working side hustles or getting creative, getting scrappy, and finding a way to invest in themselves? Or are you afraid that you're not going to be able to deliver results, and so you don't want the added pressure of your clients really stretching themselves and counting on you? Deep down, you don't want them to be all in, because that means that you really do have to step up and guide them through whatever they're going through. I've seen coaches use these sliding scale prices to help people that can't afford their services. This just does not sit well with me at all. It feels very out of integrity to charge someone more just because they're willing to get out of their comfort zone and work and put more effort in. Guys, hear me on this. It is just not the coach's job to decide who can and cannot afford their services. This does such a huge disservice to the client. You are taking away, you are robbing them of their ability to self-advocate and to level up. If you truly don't believe that your client is capable of making a couple $100s to start coaching with you and then you'll figure out the rest together, you either have a very limited mindset when it comes to earning more money, or you don't fully believe in your ability to coach them through this, or it could be a combination of both. If the client isn't going to put in any effort up front, they're not going to make a couple $100s to at least start coaching, which by the way is very easy to do. We have 3 paycheck months. They can use their tax return. They can sell stuff around their house on Facebook Marketplace. They can sell their clothes on Poshmark. There's literally so many things that they can do. If they're not willing to do any of that, to put skin in the game, what makes you think they're going to put in effort when you are coaching them? It's so important that you hold your clients accountable from the very get-go and you really empower them to take responsibility for their own financial future. Another angle of this particular pricing issue could be that your audience and your messaging is simply incorrect. Let's say, for example, you wanted to create a program for high school students on how to graduate from college debt-free, which would be super valuable. But you go on TikTok and you think that making a couple viral videos is going to get you in front of your audience, but they say that the pricing is just too high. But I would not go this route. Instead, I would go on Facebook and join some groups of parents of high school students, or make your own Facebook group for parents of high school students. And your messaging should really revolve around the pain points that the parents are feeling. They're going to be the ones that are having this weight of the college debt while the student is in high school. Do you guys see the difference here? The program didn't really change, but the messaging, the delivery, and the price is going to make more sense this way. Another really big pricing mistake that I see coaches make is that coaches will ask, well, how much is your time worth? How much do you value your time? And really, when you look at the service-based industry as a whole, time really has nothing to do with how things are priced. I think this really gets confused with hourly wage, but we're not 16-year-olds working at a fast food restaurant. Really, when it comes to being a business owner, hourly wage is pretty irrelevant. Here is the big caveat with this mistake. Now, when a financial coach is just starting out, they should work with what are called beta clients. Now, I could do a whole different video on how to work with beta clients and what the process should be, but this is more of an acceptable circumstance to look at the amount of time and results that you're going to achieve together, because you will be working together for such a short amount of time. Like I said, working with beta clients, if done correctly, can really help propel your business forward, and this is something that we cover from start to finish in my Become a Coach program. Let's go back to the how much is your time worth philosophy and why it just doesn't work in the service industry. I am very against the 40-hour work week and really hourly work in general, because it just doesn't reward efficient, skilled labor. Back in the day, time was directly correlated to how much work was completed, because people were hunched over assembly lines putting stuff together, but that's just not how our world works anymore when it comes to the workforce. One of the arguments against the 40-hour work week is that when people are done, they are just simply given more work to do in order to meet the minimum 40-hour quota. And honestly, this is really a great way to make sure that they never work efficiently and get done early ever again. Let's bring this down to a very practical level. Locksmiths, invaluable work. When you are locked out of something, the value is not found in the amount of time it takes them to unlock it. The value is found in you being able to now access the thing that was locked. I heard a story to further prove this point that I really like, and I know I'm gonna botch it, and I Googled it and I couldn't find it. So here's the second-rate version, but there is a billion-dollar company that has all of this machinery intertwined, working perfectly together, making, billions and billions of dollars for this company, and all of a sudden the entire machine shuts down. So the owner doesn't know what's wrong with it. He can't figure it out. So he calls a machine specialist. The machinery specialist gets there and he goes up to the machine and he knows exactly what to look for. He knows exactly how to fix it. The whole process takes about 15 minutes and the machines are up and running again. He walks over to the business owner and he hands him a $10,000 invoice. And it says on the invoice, something like tightened one screw or whatever. And the business owner looks at the invoice and he freaks out and he's like, what? This took you 15 minutes. You tightened one screw. How can you charge me $10,000 for this? And the specialist looks at him and he says, yeah, you're probably right. Here, let me fix that. And he takes the invoice from him, he makes some changes, and it says, tightened one screw, $1. Experience on what to look for in evaluating what was broken, how to fix it, and knowing what would work and what wouldn't work, $9,999. And I love that goofy story because it just illustrates so perfectly that we cannot look at service-based businesses based on an hourly wage. Another mistake that I have made, and I've seen other coaches make as well, is that after X number of prospects say that they can't afford the coaching, they lower the price. They keep hearing no and they get discouraged, and because of imposter syndrome and doubts, they start to think it must be the price. If the price was lower, then people would say yes. It's not about the price. If someone is not going to pay the full price for your program, they are most likely not going to pay a discounted price either. I will never forget this story. So this was back January 2020. I was preparing for my money challenge in February, and I was going back and I was messaging a few people who had said they couldn't afford my prices, but they were still very interested in coaching. I messaged one lady in particular because I knew this was going to be a much better fit for her because the entry price for the challenge was only $55. If price was truly the holdup, she would have jumped at this, right? I mean, an opportunity to work with me in a slightly different capacity for literally only $55. Her response, I'm sorry, I just can't afford it. I was speechless. This is such a valuable lesson, guys. It's not about the price. If we were selling $10,000 coaching packages or $25,000 coaching packages, then maybe it would be about the price, but we just aren't. Most coaches are selling $1,000 to $2,000 coaching programs, and I'm here to tell you guys, it's not about the price. And don't get me wrong, the objection will probably be every single time, I can't afford it. But remember, it's not about the price. Write that down and put it on a sticky note. Put it on your monitor so you can stare at it every single time you get on a sales call, because believe me guys, the faster you understand that, the more confident you will be in selling your services and inviting other people in to a crazy, awesome transformation. Here's the flip side. Let's say you lower your prices. You still get objections, you lower them again, you still get price objections. Finally, you start getting some yeses. Here's what follows: no-shows, lack of follow-through, limiting mindsets, missed payments, negative energy, no testimonials, no skin in the game. Also, your ideal client is nowhere to be found. This sounds terrible, and this is why coaches quit. Now they have done a huge disservice to their clients and to themselves. You are so much better off keeping strong boundaries with your clients and making them wait until they're in a place where they really want to invest in themselves and they're going to find a way to make it happen. I mentioned the caveat of working with beta clients earlier, and that does apply here too. This is why we don't work with beta clients forever, and when we do, we have very strict boundaries, expectations, and processes. Another note here for the coach that lowers their prices out of guilt or just wanting to help people: when you don't hold your clients accountable, you're not actually helping anyone. You're enabling very cheap behavior. And you know these people. These are the people that always complain about getting ripped off. These are the bargain hunters that have never invested in themselves or their future before. These are the complainers that are known as cheapskates, and they only buy stuff based on price and not on value. I know this sounds crazy and counterintuitive, but your prices will determine the type of clients that you're going to attract. Another mistake that I see coaches making when it comes to price, and this one is more controversial for some reason, but that is not having payment plans available for their clients. I've mentioned before in my videos and on my website, obviously, I have payment plans for all of my programs, and when I've told certain coaches this, you would have thought I robbed a bank based on their reaction. All the payment plans do are make the programs more accessible to people so that they can buy them year round and not just when they have a 3-paycheck month and not just when it's tax season and they get their tax return. I'm very aware and sensitive to the fact that investing money in a program that's going to help you with money is very scary for people, and it's a big stretch. I totally get that, and the purpose of the payment plan, again, is to make it more accessible to my clients. It's a lot less scary when we work that monthly payment into the budget that we create together each month. For someone who is wanting to increase their credit score, pay off debt, increase their savings, learn about investing, learn about insurance, the payment plan really makes my program a no-brainer. And in full transparency, I rarely have pushback on my price anymore. Not having a payment plan to me is like saying, hey, get your money together so that you can pay me to help you get your money together. And it's just not super accessible for a lot of people, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense either. So what do I do when someone may be a great fit for the program, but the timing may be off? I can sleep very well at night knowing that they have access to an abundance of my free content online that is always available for them. Maybe they need accountability. Great, join my Facebook group. Maybe they want to learn more on topics X, Y, and Z. Perfect, here's a YouTube video on it. Maybe they want to see the behind the scenes of my business or follow me on my goals. Fantastic, here's my Instagram. There's literally so much of my free content that is available for everyone. If someone truly isn't ready to invest in themselves, either they don't have the means or whatever that looks like, I can very easily direct them to all of those things that I just mentioned, and they can use that free information to get them to a point where they can invest in themselves if they're truly serious about doing that. I absolutely love this feedback here that I got from someone that I met on Instagram, and she says, I can't imagine the progress of your one-to-one coaching compared to only utilizing resources that you offer freely. You've single-handedly put $2,000+ in my pocket just from adhering to your general public advice. My free content is stupid valuable. Like she said, if my free stuff is this good, can you even imagine how good my paid offers are? So I got to the end of this video, and there's so much more that I want to share with you guys when it comes to pricing for financial coaches. So remember, I created my free pricing workshop especially for you on this topic. If you are an aspiring coach or looking to grow your stagnant practice, use the link in the description box below to access the free hour-long pricing workshop. I'll see you guys in the training.